Well, hello, and thank you for joining us here on the Galaxy of Stars podcast. We're joined today by Victoria Walker, and she's going to share with us her inspirational story of how she has been able to use an unorthodox background in the software world to real sustainable success. So, Victoria, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. So, this podcast is all about lifting up and supporting successful female and minority entrepreneurs. And thanks for joining us, because your story is really interesting. And before we get into the entrepreneur and the business and all that kind of stuff, can you give us a little bit of background on where you were born, where you were raised, where you went to school or didn't go to school, and how you got into where you are right now?
Yeah, so born and raised in Jersey, Camden, New Jersey, I was born. And I actually went into foster care at a young age, so I bounced around a lot in the South Jersey area. When I was 8, I was adopted by an older couple, moved to Cherry Hill. I don't know if you're familiar, but went to Cherry Hill West. Cherry Hill schools, good schools. And I actually started fixing phones in like middle school or high school. My mom, I wanted an iPhone that my brother had, and it was broken. And I was like, hey, can I have this iPhone? And she was like, if you can fix it, you can have it. I was like, all right. So
Game on.
Yeah, challenge accepted. I'm naturally a problem solver. So I did end up fixing that phone. And then in high school, I was actually working at a kiosk in the mall. And it was a modeling kiosk. And this guy walked by with a shirt that had rainbow colors on it. And I was like, what's that? And he's like, oh, I fix phones. We changed the colors. And I was like, oh, I fix phones. And he was like, do you? And I was like, yeah. So he's like, come over here, show me. So I showed him, and he hired me. And
Wow.
So at this point, I'm in $700 a week cash as a 16-year-old. And I was like, I think I gotta go to school and get a degree in electronics engineering or something, because, I'm making good money now, so maybe it's good money later. So I did. I went to ITT Tech. They shut down for loan fraud right when I graduated. And then I was like, okay, I don't really think I could use this degree, but I do have a lot of experience in electronics. So I ended up getting interested into mobile apps because I had a mobile app idea of my own.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I took a coding class at ITT. I'm sure I can build this app. And at this point, it's just me accepting challenges. And so I started teaching myself how to code, and I started building this mobile app, and I started doing research on how other people build mobile apps, right? And it's expensive. It costs almost $200K to make Uber when mobile app development first started. So how do people like me, who come from underserved backgrounds, afford to get an app in the app store without having that much money? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start a business doing this, and I'm going to make it more affordable. I'm going to make it more accessible, and I'm going to help people get their ideas into the app store. So that's how I kind of got into my software journey. And I did try to go back to school for software development, but timing just didn't work out for me. I was working a lot. My mom actually died when I was 15, so I was taking care of myself all that time. So I was like, I'm working way too much. So a couple years later, my sister called me. She's my foster mom's biological daughter. So she's 60. So she's basically my mom. She's like, how are you? And I was like, I'm good. I'm trying to become a software engineer. I can't go to any boot camps because I got rent back here. I have a dog. There's not much I can really do. I'm working 12-hour shifts. School's not working out. She was like, you should just come move in with me and then figure it out that way. So
Wow.
I ended up selling everything, moving in with her. It took me 30 days, moved in with her. And while I was living with her rent-free, I found a small business to intern for. So I did free development work for him. And that's how I got my experience, applied to my first software engineering job. And then the rest of my career is history. So I ended up at the Department of Labor. I worked at a fintech startup. And then now I'm at JPMorgan Chase. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, I did start the mobile app development business, and it's thriving now, but rocky start.
So how old are you?
I'm 29.
Wow, you've done a lot. So you work full time for JPMorgan Chase and the software thing, and they know about it, right? If they don't, they will now.
No, they definitely know about it. I told them. When I was networking, before I even got this job, I never applied to JPMorgan Chase. I went to a networking event, and it was a DEI thing, and I was just talking to everybody about my business, and I was like, yeah, I'm a software engineer, this is what I do mobile apps, I help people do product discoveries, and then they reached out to me. So people from that event were going back to their teams, and they were like, yo, you gotta interview this girl. So I had like 4 interview requests, but that's like 3 interviews each. So I just did 2. One was business analyst and one was software engineering. And then on my interviews, they're like, "What do you do in your free time?" And I was like, "I run a business and I help people get their mobile apps in the app store." So they know, and I talk about it very openly. But it's not
Yeah.
like I'm not like an executive director, so there's no like they're not really threatened by me.
Sometimes searching for small business funding can make you feel like a lone wolf in a vast galaxy of stars. But there is help. Apply for a Galaxy Grant, powered by Hidden Star. It's a 30-second application process, eligible for all women and minority business owners, and they are always 100% free to apply. So remember, you are not alone. We are here to help. Apply for a Galaxy Grant today at galaxyofstars.org.
And so now you're living, you're born and raised in Jersey, and made the best of what seems like a fairly difficult situation. And how did you get to Atlanta, Georgia?
Yeah, so I'm one of they call me a pandemic transplant.
Oh, wow.
So during the pandemic, I was working at that first job, the Department of Labor. And Virginia is not, my sister, she hates to hear me say this, but Virginia is just not a place for me. It's just like there's not a lot of community in regards to the tech community, the fitness community, the beauty community, all the things that I do. It's just not in Virginia. So I did some research on tech hubs that were going to happen in the U.S. So Tampa, I think, was one of the next tech hubs. Obviously, the West Coast has a tech hub. Houston's become a tech hub. And Atlanta was one of them. And then the extra perk of Atlanta was the Black-owned business support. It just made sense to move here. Socially, I think it made sense to move here. And then business-wise, it made sense to move here. And career-wise, it made sense to move here because I don't think I would have gotten the JPMC role without moving to Atlanta.
You like it?
I love it.
Is that right?
I've overestimated the social piece of it, but I love it. I mean, the support, the business support is amazing. For someone like me, I actually get more energy when I'm socializing. So the more people I talk to, the more excited I get about what they're doing. So I ended up doing a lot of volunteering out here for the Women's Chamber or different tech groups. And I've been able to help place JPMorgan in the center of some of the tech stuff that we do. And then even with Vivify Solutions, I'll meet people who are like, "Hey, I want to become a software engineer. I just don't know where to start." And so I teach them. So the same opportunity that I had to intern in that business, I now give that opportunity back to others. So right now I have a software engineering fundamentals where I just teach people for free basic fundamentals. And then they intern in the company once they build their own web app to prove that they've done the course.
So how many people work for Vivify now?
7. And then we got some interns in there too.
That's awesome. And this is really interesting for our folks, the folks that are going to listen to this, and here's why. So we've got a million members, which is, I mean, when we first started this thing, I was like, man, if we could get to 50,000, that'd be amazing.
Look at you now.
Yeah, so good for us. And what we're finding is that a lot of our members say they have a company, but what they really have is a side hustle, right? Which is great, but I just don't know that the Department of Labor would categorize that as an ongoing concern yet, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of what we do, and we're about 81% female in our membership, and about 50%, 51% are African American. So it's really interesting how many side hustles there are that are, and they're struggling to get traction, and they don't need kind of traditional entrepreneurial assistance. They're like, okay, how do you actually do a side hustle while you keep your day job? And you're the poster child for that. It looks like.
Yeah. So I'm very structured. I guess you have to be kind of structured for this. And I know a lot of people, sometimes they frown upon structured people, but I really am passionate about getting Vivify. I want to go full time on it. That's the goal within the next year, hopefully. But so some of my team is in Nigeria, right? Because I'm a small business, so I can't really afford US rates. So I wake up at 6 a.m. and I work with my team for 2 to 3 hours. And then I get ready and I go into my day job. And then on my lunch break at my day job, I leave the building, I go across the street or something, go to a cafe, and I use my lunch break to work on my business. And then I go back to work. And then after work, I go to the gym, I meal prep and stuff, so I eat. And then I clock back in at like 9 p.m. till like 11:30, 12. Sometimes I'm up all night because I just have that much work to do. But it's more so like I see the bigger picture, I guess. So it's very easy for me to spend most of my free time focusing on the business.
Yeah. Well, so tell me about the name. How did you come up with Vivify?
That's such a good question. So originally I was coming up with like, the whole thing is bringing people's ideas to life, right? Just bringing them to life using technology. And so I got Devify, right? Because if you put revive, which is bringing something to life, and then develop, which is coding, then I got Devify. And then I was like doing research, and I was like, dang, somebody already has Devify. I want it to be more unique, you know? And then my sister was like, why don't you just use your name? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, your name is Victoria, and you're bringing the app ideas to life, so just use Vivify. So that's why I got Vivify Solutions.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, the electric vehicle company, Rivian, just took two words. That's actually a backwards amalgamation of the word Indian River.
Oh, I never knew that.
No, who knew? I mean, it sounds silly to me, but I'm in Texas. So,
I think it's a great way to like name things these days, like just like taking two words and putting them together. Only if it makes sense. It's got to have a flow to it. Like Rivian's got a flow. Vivify has a flow, but it's a tongue twister for some people.
you know, I wrote a book that's a free download on our website. And we're 350, 400,000 copies out there. And you simply cannot overstress the importance of a good name. And it's great to have a great name. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievably bad to have a terrible name.
Yeah, no. I help people with their branding too. Like when people come across my desk and they're like, hey, like I really need you to help me with my app, I will tell them straight up, this branding is not it. Because I got to be honest with you, right? Like if it's going to come out of my agency, I really want you to succeed. I got to be honest with you. Like using Z's where there should be S's, like we probably don't need to be doing all that, you know?
Yeah.
Like this doesn't have a ring to it. Like, so I tell people a lot about their branding, and I know right now AI is not helping in that aspect because everyone's using AI to come up with a business name and to create their business website, but no one's really focusing on using AI to come up with a crafty name because AI is only as good as its user. So if I say, hey, give me a business name, I do X, Y, and Z, and build me a website, it's going to build you whatever. But if I say, hey, I really want my business name to represent what it is that I deliver, here's what I deliver. Here's the quality of excellence I want to deliver. But the branding, I want people to feel X, Y, and Z when they come to my website. Now AI is going to help you build a brand guideline that makes sense, and then you can move on and not have to like revamp it 3 months down the line, right? Because a rebrand is not that fun.
That is the understatement of the day, young lady. It is not fun, and it's. I think I can say this on a family podcast. It sucks.
Yeah.
There's nothing good about it. Nothing exciting about it. You know, it's only been pulled off successfully a few times. I'm old enough to remember when Nissan was called Datsun, D-A-T-S-U-N.
Oh wow, I don't remember that.
Yeah, no. Well, because you're 12 years old. So they started it, and it was Datsun. Then they did it over 3 or 4 years. So they'd bring out new models, and it was Nissan rather than Datsun. It was really interesting to watch. But you know, it's not like Nissan meant anything better or more to the American driving public than it did to the Japanese driving public, because they're both Japanese words. What do we know, right? But they did it, and they pulled it off. But it's hard. It's like changing a car. It's like changing oil in a car with a motor running.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for listening to the Beating the Odds podcast and all these inspirational stories. The key word for this episode to win the grant and be entered is superstar. Superstar. Good luck. So let me ask you this. So in your growing up, in your orbit, let's say in New Jersey, were there any entrepreneurs that might have given you the spark, or is it just a itch you had to scratch?
I think it's just, I tell people this all the time, tech chose me. I think God wanted me to be where I'm at. There's a reason. The amount of people that I have helped bring their business to life without costing them thousands, I think that is just my purpose. So inevitably I was going to end up here. But I was trying to be an FBI agent. I used to watch Criminal Minds a lot, and I wanted to be an FBI profiler.
No kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah, no entrepreneurs around me. No one in my family. No friends. I just always was like, I just want to help people build apps. And then it turned into this, I guess I'm a business owner now.
Well, yeah. So how does Vivify work, right? And this is going to go out to 1 million people, right? So if they need an app, do you charge by the job or by the hour or how does that get paid for?
Yeah, so we have 2 different revenue streams because our tech consulting is super custom. I come in, I talk to you, I'm like, tell me about your technology, your flows, and things like that. And then I come up with ways to just improve your entire business with technology, with AI agents, automations. I combine technologies together. I might build you your own portal. And so that is more so tech consulting, which is hourly fee. But then the people who come in, they're like, I know I need a website, I know I need an app. Then we don't really like to quote mobile apps without fully understanding the vision, because one of the biggest problems to this day is that people will tell a developer, hey, this is the app I want, and they'll go over to India because it's cheaper, and then the people in India will build it, but it won't be marketable because they never fully understood the vision, and neither did the owner. So we try to put people through a product discovery phase, and we let them pay for that separately. So in the product discovery phase, we go through the problem, the solution, the target audience, the customer profile. We do a customer discovery where we find out and validate what people really need. We go through the branding guide, the logo, the landing page. So we do all of this up front. We do a UI UX design. That way they can either just go straight into development, because since we've come up with those monetization strategies, we've come up with the branding guide, we've come up with all the features, I'm able to accurately quote them. And then they're able to go tell an investor, hey, I've done the research on this. I've validated that people need this. Here's a clickable prototype. And here is how we're going to bring in revenue. Here's what we need from you. So now they know the exact cost of the mobile app, and then they can do their research into the marketing. So we do that product discovery piece. So that way everybody knows what they're getting themselves into. So they'll either go raise funds and they'll come back, or they'll just go straight into development. So now we already know the MVP is going to cost whatever it might have been. Maybe it was $45K. They put a percentage up front, and then they pay the rest over monthly. So if they're like, hey, I want my MVP to be released in 6 months, then all right, you'll put this much up front, you'll pay the rest over the next 6 months, we'll deliver it to the App Store. And then we don't really just let them go. Apps, designs update all the time, different technology things update all the time, policies update all the time. So once they're done with that development phase, we give them about 60 to 90 days to go out, test it, send it to all their friends, do all the things, break it however you can. And then we go into a contract where every month we'll do reporting, we'll do upgrades, we'll do bug reports, anything of that sort, for a certain fee every month. So it's more of a retainer.
So I've started and sold companies, I've bought and sold companies, and I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs start company. And you're not just an app developer, you're kind of a launch agent, right?
Exactly.
And the technology is a byproduct that you have to have for certain, but you're not going to let them go out there with a bad message, with a bad karma. That's awesome. Because let me tell you, again, it's in my book. I don't know where it happened, Victoria, but you've heard it. I know you've heard it, which is follow your passion. Oh, follow your passion. If you follow your passion, you'll never work a day in your life. And I'm like, this bullshit's out of control. Because it's just wrong, right? I mean, my passion, watching college football. I really don't think I could make a thriving, successful, revenue-generating business out of me sitting on my couch. But that's my passion.
I can help you make money.
Oh,
I can tell anybody how to make money doing anything. I feel like that's my gift.
Well, yeah. Well, we're learning a lot more than just mobile apps. But yeah, it's if you take your passion and match it up with a sustainable business model.
Yep.
Like, and I tell a story all the time. I live in Austin, Texas, which is a tech hub, and you left us out of your list.
I thought about Austin, Texas way later, and I was like, oh, I forgot Austin.
Yeah. So you launch this. It's an interesting thing. You get a job. You start this. You're side hustling. It has become a thriving business. Just as an aside of the people you have working for you, how many are men? How many are women? Are there minority? Tell us who worked for you.
Yes, so I have men and women, but I've noticed that I work with a lot of women. It just depends on the role, I think. So my business manager, she's a woman. She's in Nigeria. Right. I have a marketing partner. She's a woman. She's in Tampa. And then I have other marketing partners here in the U.S. We partner up on contracts if we need to, or we pass each other work, or if they need a website, or if I need, if my clients need marketing. So then that's a Black woman-owned agency there. It's called Brand Saver. And then 2 cybersecurity partners. So I go to them for assessment stuff, anything like that, subcontracting on contracts. They're in the U.S. Black men-owned cybersecurity companies. And then as for the rest of my team, product manager. She's a woman. Right. She's actually in Argentina, I want to say. And then a software engineer, Nigeria. He's a guy. And a UI UX designer, a guy in Nigeria. Yeah. And then we have interns. So we have a marketing intern. Her name is Chantel. She's in Canada. One thing I've noticed since running my business, like, women think so different than men. And you definitely need both, at least in my business, when it comes to making the decisions. I'm sure the woman's going to have the final say, because unless it's a really great idea, right? But for the most part, it's been women's vision is a little bit different, a little bit more thorough. Guys are like, yeah, let's go out and let's do this. And I'm like, did you think about these things on the way up? So women are a little bit more thorough in the thought process.
Speaking behalf of all men, it is ready, fire, aim. Yeah. Right? And God bless you for keeping them on track, but that's the way we work. So during this process, we talked about, lack of kind of mentorship and leadership and learning avenues. Have you cultivated some of those as you go, or are you just, because not everybody has one, and it's perfectly fine not to have one, but have you picked up any older, wiser folks that kind of give you business advice as you go, not tech advice?
Yeah. Oh, business advice in general. So my aunt used to work for the DEA, and she got out and she started a tech consulting firm or something. She does a lot. And my sister was like, you should call your aunt. She started a business before. So, okay. So I called her. I was like, hey, I want to start a business. Here's what it is. She was like, go S Corp in Delaware. She was like, go on stamps.gov, get a DUNS number. So she kind of helped me set up my entire business structure. And so I didn't understand everything that I was doing fully. I was doing research and I was like, I still don't understand this. Why S Corp over C Corp over LLC? I'm trying to figure it all out, right? But now, years down the line, I appreciate her for telling me to do that. So she definitely helped me set up my business. When it comes to business advice, I did an accelerator. So here at the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurs in Atlanta, they have people who do accelerators that help you just understand your business model and your revenue and all these different balance sheets and stuff like that. That was very helpful. And then as far as my marketing and putting myself out there, the company I was telling you about, Brand Saver, the owner of that company, she's such a great mentor. She just the minute I met her, she was just pouring into me. She was like, you know what? You're young, you're smart, you're in tech, you need to pick up your phone, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I did it. And my online presence has grown so much. Yeah. And I've gotten a lot of clients from just my online presence. So I call her every now and then. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? So we pivot the strategies at some point. But yeah, other than that, a lot of people I meet in Atlanta are business people, so I'll talk to them and then, okay, free game, and I'll write that down.
The minority business community in Atlanta it's as good as it gets. Number one, number two, they're really energized about helping grow other businesses like that. It's been fun to watch. I mean, I've been at it for 10 years now. So, and obviously, somehow during your research and all that, you came across Galaxy Stars and Hidden Star. I mean, you're here because you're a member of ours. So you're looking for all kinds of stuff, and we're one of those, and we're happy to be that. I ask this question of everybody, and I get some really interesting answers, because not every company needs money to start.
Right, I didn't have it.
There you go. Right, you just had to start working, right? Mm-hmm. Which is exactly what you did. I mean, you were making $700 a week at age 16, and that kind of morphed into, well, I need to routinize that, and the ability to go do that. It seems like you just started working, charging pretty fair rate, doing a great job, and cash piled up, and you just kept reinvesting that back into the business. Is that how it went?
So I did work for free at first, did websites for free, and then I did product discoveries for $250. And so the first mobile app development project that I did three free websites. And then I did a mobile app, and I was like charging super, super, super low. So I actually ended up losing money on that project because I had to put my own funds into it.
Oh, wow.
And then my first product discovery was $250. And then the more that I did it and the more that I perfected it, I was like, this is worth, more money. Like, I need to make more money doing this. And then I was like $500, then it was $750. And so now people are paying $10,000 for our product discoveries because they're able to raise the funds when they come out of the product discovery. So even mobile apps, like I was like, my first mobile app, I told these people like $6,000. That was ridiculous, right? It's software development. And then after that, it was $15,000. And after that, it was $30,000. But then I would take equity, and so I would cut the price in half again. It would still be $15,000. And so it took a while to go up to where we are now. And to me, I really just got serious about the price has to match the work, right? One, if you're too cheap, people are going to be like, oh, it's too cheap. It must not be good. So your price has to make sense. You have to do research on the competitors. And so,
that's a delicate thing, for sure.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And you have to be sustainable, right? I think last August, I feel like God told me to go full-time on the business. And so I was never going to be comfortable until I go full-time on the business. And so I've been working at JPMC for a while, love working there. I got into AI engineering there. I've made a lot of impact there, but I'm uncomfortable, right? Because I feel like I need to be challenged more, or something is not right. Maybe I need to switch teams. They always say career mobility is a thing there because after 2 years, you might want to switch teams. But I got really serious about, okay, wait a minute. We're doing everything we said we could do, right? I'm doing apps in my sleep. I'm doing websites in my sleep. I'm doing brand guides. Even my team will come in and they'll be like, did you sleep last night? Because we were getting notifications. And I was like, no, I'm building something. And then they're always like, what do you not do? You build the websites, you do the designs, you do the project management. You're really good at a lot of the things. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to do that forever.
Well, I'll tell you this. Every boss who's started a company has gotten the question, that email you sent me at 3 o'clock in the morning, were you still up or did you get up early? Right?
Yeah. Sometimes I just schedule them now because I'm like, let me schedule this at 8 a.m. But where I was going with the pricing thing, I'm going to finish out that thought because I got it. So where I was going with that is that I could not build a sustainable business if I did not fix my prices. So now my prices match the work. Right. And every client doesn't sign with me, but I'm able to have a team now. So that's why I have a team, right? Because before I was undercharging. Now
let's talk about your team for a second. So you decided to scale the business, right? And you got enough traction, you got enough of everything to start scaling. And how many of you live in Atlanta?
It's just me actually right now.
That's exactly the question. Has it always been virtual? And because I've got teams in India, I've got teams in Vietnam doing software coding stuff. You've got teams in Nigeria. They do great work over there. But it was always virtual when you started to scale up, right?
Yep. It's been a completely virtual business. None of my clients lived in Atlanta either until this past year. My clients found me online. Yeah.
It's not, you don't have to touch it or feel it.
Yeah, you don't have to spend the money on the brick and mortar, get in the office, fancy office, right? If you can do something and it can be done online. Now, I will say it's a little tough running a fully remote business because before, especially being fully remote business and working a full-time job, because JPMorgan has us in office 5 days a week. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to like, multitask when you're in the office because someone's talking to you here and someone's having a
Right.
party here.
It's interesting because when you've been at it as long as I have, you know, you're used to walking out of the CEO's office and there's 45 people in cubicles right outside the door, and you say, hey, Freddie or Jenny or whatever it is, you know, I need this right now. And it is incredibly hard
Yeah.
to recreate that. And so a lot of the stuff we do on Zoom and this company I run is just cultural. Well, tell jokes, talk about your family, do all that kind of stuff because the work is the work, right? But
Yeah.
if they're not engaged and all of that's been the hardest thing for me in this whole post-COVID world is how do you scale an entirely virtual deal? And so I'll ask you, in this journey of yours from where you are to where you were, what's been the hardest thing?
I would say I think it's the team. I think it is growing a remote business, right? Because I feel like that's a perk, but then it's also not. I'm basically full time on my business. I'm dropping the ball somewhere probably, right? And then if I start dating, now I'm dropping the ball in my business. It's never, so that's been one of my biggest issues. But I think with the remote thing was the communication with the team. How do you make sure that people enjoy working for you? How do you make sure that people know what they're supposed to be doing, like without micromanaging them? So
Right.
for me, I have 2 working sessions throughout the day, and one is at like 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and one is 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. And so if anyone needs anything, then they would know that this is the window available where I would be in a call
Right.
just working silently, or they could. And then I also told them, I'm like, use voice messages.
Yeah.
It's okay to use
Yeah,
voice
that's
messages.
right.
You don't have to type everything out.
That's
So
hard to
I-
get people to adopt. It's hard to get them to do that. I'm old and I'm like, this is cool. We're doing this. So, has luck played any part in your success, or is it just the grind?
Honestly, I think it's a grind.
Yeah.
I think exposure, telling people what you do is a big deal. Not giving up. Like, I've had moments, and I hear people say this all the time when they start businesses, but I've truly had moments where I was like, maybe this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe this is not what people need. And then I just don't give up. I'll do research into, okay, if this is the problem, let me do more research into this problem. And so I went on Threads one time. Social media, telling people what you need is your best friend. I went on social media, and I was like, hey, y'all, my name's Victoria, software engineer. I'm self-taught, got myself into Fortune 500 company, no bachelor's degree, and I've also started a business where I help people get their apps into the App Store. But I'm drowning all the time, and I really need help. And it just blew up. People were commenting, here's what I really need.
Yep.
I need a reliable cleaner for my house so that I can like work all day long and not have to worry about that. I need a social media manager, and I need a virtual EA. And that's how I found my business manager, and she's been working with me for 5 months, and the business has really just done, I mean, right before I got her, I got 2 clients that allowed me to scale. It was like 60K. So I was like, okay, I have
wow.
funds. Yeah, I have funds for like the next couple months, so I should get a team. And she has been amazing. We have just been online presence, processes, the team, managing the team, interviewing, all of it. It's been amazing. So I don't know about luck.
Wow. So, are there any, we have to ask, because it's why we do this.
Yeah.
Do you think that you've faced any, and I'm going to ask you to break it down into 2 spots, any obstacles as a female entrepreneur that you shouldn't have, and as a minority entrepreneur? What obstacles have you come across that, let's say, I would not have?
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I feel like some people don't take you serious at first, right? Because I think a lot of people see me first. They're like, oh my God, she's such a beautiful woman. And then you talk and they're like, oh, and she's smart. But then now they're more so, I'm going to get on her calendar and I'm going to act like I need her services. But really, I just need proximity to her because I might want to take her on a date. Obviously, you're probably not going to go through that issue. And that's a waste of my time, and that's slowing me down.
Oh, I get women hitting on me all the time. It's just, I get so tired of it.
I don't see a woman getting on someone's calendar like
No.
with the intentions, of something completely opposite. Other than that, though, I don't think so. I think my biggest blocker is that, like, I've never seen anyone run a successful business or build a successful business or anything like that. So my biggest issue is that I don't know business well enough. I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know how to network. So those are the things that I had to learn. But one thing about me is that I don't really believe in excuses. So it's like one of my hardest questions to answer, because for me, if I want to do it, I'm gonna do it. I don't care if anyone's gonna like try to take me down or not. I'm probably still gonna do it. If me being a Black woman or being a minority has blocked any of my blessings, I wouldn't even have noticed. My brain didn't even register it, because my brain was just like, oh, okay, we got another no. Let me go find the next
Walk in the road, I'll just walk around it.
Exactly. So I really wouldn't even know,
You know, it's been interesting. All the folks that we've helped here, again, predominantly African American women, and I'm like, listen, and you're adjacent to this because you don't care, right? I mean, you know where you're going, and you don't really give a fig what's going to happen between there. You're getting there, and I tell them all the time, start a website. No one will know if you're old, young, Black, white, male, female. They won't know.
Yeah.
What they will know is if you're smart and if you're giving them a value proposition they can relate to.
Yeah.
But it works great. It sounds like you've mastered that. Man, what a great story. And again, we're here to have conversations that will be inspirational and aspirational for aspiring young entrepreneurs, and you're it. So thank you very much for coming on this thing. If anybody in our audience needs an app or needs some development done or needs launch advice, sounds like you're a launch agent, where would they find you, and how do they, you got a website and an email and you can do all that kind of stuff. How do they get in touch with you?
Yes, so you can go on my website, which is vivifysolutions.net. So it's Vivify Solutions.net. And then feel free to add me on LinkedIn. My name is Victoria Walker on there. So if you put Victoria Walker Vivify Solutions, it should come up. And then if you want to hear me rant about all the things that people are hiding in the tech world or all the new AI insiders, I do a lot of posts on my Instagram, which is Six Figure Techie.
Well, what else would it be?
The word six. Interesting about that name too. That came from my my marketing mentor. She was just like, if people want to make six figures in tech, then you need to have a catchy Instagram name if you're going to teach them how to make six figures in tech. And I was like, oh, it's so cringe though, but it works. I mean, people are interested in catching people's attention.
It's a great name. It's almost like you read my book.
I'm going to read your book.
Well, go to galaxystars.org, download that sucker. It's an easy read. And it was, it's interesting. When I started this thing, I'm an old private equity guy. And, bought and sold a bunch of companies I started and sold for. And my daughter said, you got to write a book. Yeah. And you can't write it like you talk to people.
Why not?
Well, because I've got all that experience. I've got all that success behind us. We've got experience, and all of a sudden we're talking inside baseball. And if you don't know it, then you're not in it. She said, you need to write this for somebody who doesn't know. Think about somebody who works in a cafeteria.
Yeah.
Think about somebody who's never thought about having a company at all. They don't know anything about business, and that's the way that book is built. And it's been remarkably. I was like, who in the world wants to hear me talk about business? And it turns out 400,000 people.
Oh, we do. Yeah. I mean, I even love what you guys are doing over here at Galaxy of the Stars. Even these podcasts, getting the information for all of the people that are following you. So, I mean, I'm going to read the book for sure, because even just this conversation was great. So I really appreciate it.
Well, I was like, oh, there's got to be books out there for that. And you can buy Startups for Dummies, Business for Dummies, Business Plan for Dummies, Dummies for Dummies. If they sold it, I bought it. I think I bought like 36 books. And
Wow.
I was like, these guys don't get it. They just don't get it.
Yeah.
If what you're trying to do is teach somebody or to inspire somebody who works in a cafeteria, no fault of their own, it's a great, dignified job. But if they want to start a company, man, you got to start in a very different place.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to do. And happy to be at it for 10 years. So anyway, and you're our anniversary podcast guest.
That's amazing.
I know, yeah.
They're gonna love this. They're gonna love it. One thing I've always been told is that my story is inspiring. I think you said your daughter told you how to write your book. Maybe I need to talk to her because I'm like, at this point, it's time for me to write a book so that people can learn more about like the upbringing, and I can like store the upbringing part in the book, and then next chapter.
You remind me a lot of her. I'm the proud dad of two badass girls.
Yes. Love that.
Yeah, they take no slack from anybody. They keep me on the straight and narrow. And of course, my wife of 40 years, which is cool because I'm almost off probation now. She doesn't cut me any slack either. So but again, I have an incredible amount of respect for what you've done here and amazed by it. So if anybody listening to the podcast, if anybody watching this podcast needs an app, needs a launch, needs some help, call, write, send a carrier pigeon over to Victoria, and she will fix you up.
I absolutely will.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much, and hopefully we can stay in touch.
Absolutely.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.